Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Wolves of Shadowed Fate. Episode 21. Chapter 113 to 118. My machine is beeping an alarm and my doctor comes into the room asking, "What are you doing to her? Her blood pressure and heart rate are too elevated. I told you that she has been under too much stress, this is not good for her at all." I already see a nurse entering the room right behind him heading towards me with a needle in her hand. I tried to stop her but I wasn't strong enough. She administered the shot quickly, and I could not stop my tears from falling. Apparently, it doesn't matter what I want. I know why they need it. It is documented proof of what happened. It is irrefutable documentation that I didn't make it up. That it really happened. It proves what I had told them was the truth, but I just can't let my baby boy go back there. It isn't safe. I can do it, Mom, you need to have some faith in me. I am almost a full-grown wolf. Let me make a few choices myself. It will be okay. I swear to you that I will come back safe, Kevin tells me as he kisses my forehead, and I am drowsy now. I keep trying to text them to please not do it, but I cannot focus on the keyboard anymore. My fingers are heavy and I can't type. I feel a hug and then Raven whispers to me, "I will keep your pup safe, Cheryl, even at the cost of my own life. Do not worry about Kevin. By the time you wake up we will be back." She squeezes the hand that didn't have the 4 in it and then leaves the room. It is silent now, and I feel another tear slide down the side of my face. I pray that she is right. I hate that they are taking him back to Black Moon, but Kevin was right. They would never suspect it, not in 100 years, and that element of surprise might be the only thing that keeps them safe tonight. Chapter 114. Blake's POV. I had gone upstairs after I was able to gather some strength, to look at the note she left me. It wasn't just a note, but a note, and DNA test with results. Apparently, she had sent one of my water bottles, a hair from my brush, her brush, and Kevin's brush too. I cannot get over what has happened today. Graham has been in the cells for over 2 hours, and he was still knocked out. I was both happy and sad that he was still unconscious. I was glad that Mark had really punched him hard, but I wanted to get my hands on him myself. I wanted him awake and aware that his life was now in my hands, and that I wanted him dead for what he did to me and my family. I have been staring at one of the pictures of our family, back when we were happy. It was really the last one taken of us all together. After this one, no more family pictures had been made. It was either because I refused to let Kevin in the shot with the rest of us, or Cheryl refused to participate without him in the picture. Back before Graham decided to completely FK my family up for no reason, we were so happy. The proof of Kevin being mine was right here in front of me and was a complete punch to the gut. Forrest and Kevin looked exactly the same, with my face, my square jaw, and even down to the shape of my ears. It was just the fact that Forrest had my coloring so he looked more like me, and Kevin had Cheryl's coloring. Graham was right to pick on Kevin. I would have balked if he had gone after one of my babies. Cheryl was right, she never left here one time in her first 5 years here, because she was terrified of being caught and imprisoned. There was no way any of my children were not mine. The pain in my heart increased as I realized that I am the reason for all of my pain. Everything that our family has been put through was because of me. I rubbed my face with both hands, and I have been doing that a lot for the last few hours. I am under a lot of stress right now. I have been waiting on a call from the council, but thankfully that has not happened, yet. Silas and Billy had come to speak to the children earlier, and that had not gone very well at all. Silas started it out by calling his own daughter a murderer and blaming her for everything. Billy was still in shock and was not really speaking. None of the children acted like they even cared that their mom had left us. But they were all angry about her killing 3 pack members without cause, at least that was what the whole pack was talking about. The pack member were all talking about it, they all thought she did it for no reason because she was angry and jealous of Kara. In fact, Forrest even went straight on the attack and said, "I don't care about her anyway, she can stay gone. She cheated on Dad and caused this whole thing. How could she kill innocent pack members like that? She will not be getting away with it. I hope the council catches her and puts her to death. I have been disappointed in her for years. I won't miss her or Kevin. I am stunned at how mad he was at her. I am sick that he is just repeating some of what he has heard me say over the last few years. Goddess, I messed up so badly. I see Casey and Robert open their mouths to chime in with him and I have to hold my hand out to stop them. I cannot hear anyone else condemning Cheryl right now. With each hateful and angry word, it hits me more and more what all I have put her through. There was nowhere in this pack other than this bedroom where she could be free of the ugliness that I allowed to follow her wherever she went. With each step she took, she was ridiculed and scorned for something that she never did. Graham was absolutely brilliant in playing on my fears so much that I just accepted it all as truth. I have to straighten this out, and I guess that I will be starting with my own family. Don't speak about your mother like that. I was wrong. I was lied to and deceived by Graham Sullivan. Everything that I did was because of him. He lied about Kevin and he lied about your mom, too. She never cheated on me. Kevin is your brother. I allowed my possessiveness and jealousy to blind me to what I was doing to your mom, and to Kevin. I was wrong, and I caused this. I have proof that she was innocent, and I will clear this up tomorrow at a town hall meeting that I am going to hold for us after our dinner. I just cannot do it today, my heart is hurting at the loss of my mate and pup. I want your mom back, no, I need your mom to come back. Do not ever let me hear you repeating any of the crap that I have been saying these last years. I was wrong, and I will admit just how wrong I was. I have locked Graham up right now. I will be interrogating him either tonight, or tomorrow, but Kevin is your brother, he is my son. I was wrong, and that is all you need to know right now. I will pray to the goddess every night to bring them back to me, I told them, and their stunned expressions did not help me feel any better about this. Even Silas and Billy were shocked at my words. They had believed it too, her own parents condemned her, just like the rest of the pack did. I poisoned my family, my ranked wolves, and my entire pack against a she-wolf that had truly loved and cared for. I never had any proof at all of her deceit. Yet I made sure to tell anyone who would listen, that she has betrayed me in the worst way. Cheryl didn't do anything wrong, but I condemned her as if she had. I cannot wait for Graham to wake up. As soon as he does, I will be there for a visit. My children at least had the grace to look upset over how they treated Kevin. Especially the 2 youngest. I didn't want to kick Casey while she was down, but she had an opportunity to hug her mom goodbye and she lost it. I remember the pain showing on Cheryl's face when Casey actually greeted Kara first, and then chose not to hug her mom, as shopping was the most important thing on her mind. One of these days Casey is going to feel really bad about it. It just shows the pack mentality when one member is ganged up and picked on. Everyone always takes sides with the stronger one. Because they don't want to be the one who stands alone or gets bullied themselves. I had seen the black eye on Forrest and at first, he didn't want to admit to what had happened, but he finally did. He had been ashamed that he was bested by his younger brother. He hadn't realized that Kevin just put in more work than he did. Forrest just kind of went through the motions, and never applied himself, because he was the heir. Kevin worked out harder than Forrest did, not for the position, but for my approval. Forrest knew he had my approval, so he didn't care to work hard for it. I am ashamed that I have failed my whole family, and changes are going to be made here and soon. No more getting expensive shopping trips, from now on they will have to work to earn money. I am ruining my children just like Graham ended up ruining Reagan. The pain that she felt, the helplessness that she had here in her own home, in her own pack. She was trapped here to continue to suffer at my hand, basically a prisoner in her own home. I knew that she was mad enough to run away from me, but I knew that she would never leave Kevin. So I made sure that any time they left, they had several warriors with them. I gradually pulled back on the warriors that I had on their security detail. They were there to protect them, but they were more there to actually prevent either of them from being able to leave Black Moon. I let Graham do more and more to try to get Cheryl back. Back to where we were before I FD everything up. No wonder I couldn't do it. I was listening to the very man who wanted to destroy us both. How Graham thought that he could get away with it, I will never know. The sudden realization comes to me that he had probably planned for that too. He wanted her to die, that is what he was pushing her to do. I already know that if she had died, because of what I had done to her, I would have gone insane. They would have had to kill me to stop the rampage that I would have been on tearing through this pack. Graham would have them just put someone in my place and he would have used them as a vessel to be able to run the pack himself. How could I not have seen it before? He would have bossed Garrett around, as Garrett would have gotten the job of interim alpha. All while Graham ran the pack behind Garrett's back. Graham would have kept working on Forrest and kept planting seeds into Forrest's head. Just like he did to me. Graham would have had full control of my pack. He would never have let go, and Forrest would have been too young and inexperienced to have stopped him. The level of deception that Graham was working at amazes me. I see now that he had been on his very best behavior here at Black Moon, at first. He needed to learn all the ins and outs, how I ran things, who I trusted, and how they were too before he could make a move. That took a while for him to learn. None of us trusted him at all, especially for the first 5 years. He got very little information garnered from any of us during those first 5 years. He is patient, and cunning, and I never saw it coming. He played on my very worst fears, losing Cheryl, to do that very thing. I doubt he even factored in or thought of a possibility like this one. One where she would strike back as hard as she did to him. To hurt him almost as badly as he had hurt her, and our son. I saw how shocked he was over it. He honestly thought that she would just give up, and bow down under the pressure of it. I honestly think that he wanted her to die from the stress and pain of it. He failed to factor in how strong she actually was. How much she loves those pups of ours. She never wanted to give up on me, until I forced her to by crossing over her bottom line and dismissing her core values. My selfish acts as the person who was most important to her. Showed her time after time what I thought of her and made her feel insignificant, and unimportant to me by putting my other women first. At that point, she was only protecting Kevin. It was why she had him next to her at all our meals. Because she could not trust him to be safe anywhere else. The fact that I had put Kara, and those other girls across from her, was the biggest slap in her face. One that I did with my whole pack watching it play out. How I took her spot as Luna, sitting at my right hand, and gave it to another woman. It didn't matter that I was wanting to hurt her back for picking Kevin, and Brandon over me. Graham, of course, had mentioned that. He sat where he could watch the pain that she went through at being dismissed, and disrespected each and every night. I know he enjoyed seeing it. It makes me sick to think of what all I did to her, and when the time comes and I feel her betraying me, I hope I have as much strength to be able to endure it. I have a very bad feeling that it will be much worse than I ever dreamed it would be. Alpha. I get a mind link from Garrett. They have been leaving me alone for the last few hours as they all know now that I am shattered. They all are stunned at how the day has gone. The things that we thought we knew, were all wrong. The fact that he and Mark played such an instrumental role in getting me to where I am now, has not escaped me. They know punishment is coming, but I have to deal with other things first. Like clearing my mate's name, and dealing with Graham. I know what he is going to do, and I have a little something up my sleeve for him. Did you need something, Garrett? I am not happy with hearing from him. You wanted to know when Graham was awake. I was letting you know he is, Garrett replied. He is right. I did need to speak to Graham, and I am happy that he is awake now. I am on my way. Thank you, Garrett, I told him, and broke the link. A smile is finally on my face. I finally have a little good news and something to look forward to as well. I am looking forward to letting him know that until my mate comes back he will be wishing that he had never set his sights on hurting either one of us. He thinks that he has the upper hand like he always had. I want him to know that from today forward, he no longer has anything at all left to look forward to, for the rest of his sorry life. Chapter 115 Brandon's POV. I can hear him before I see him. Good, he is pissed off too. I waited for a minute listening to the threats that he is giving to anyone he can see. This is so unlike him. He is usually so calm and collected. I bet he suspects something now. I am sure his threats are so vicious because he knows his game is all over, and he needs to get out of here before I get here. Too late for him, I am already here. I motion to a guard and tell him to go get me a chair to sit in at Graham's cell. I am not in a hurry, this is going to take a while. I am glad that he is in the far back corner and has extra walls. I just thought of a decorating idea for him. I will have to get some pictures of Cassandra blown up into posters, and put on the walls for him to see what he has lost too. I will make sure that they are just out of reach on that side wall, so he can't tear them down. It really is the least I can do for him. I would hate for time to take her away in his memories. I mean, that was the start of his evil empire. Taking her away from her original true mate, and conning her into accepting him. From then on, he got worse. Tricking people into deals, and putting hidden clauses into contracts that went by unnoticed, until he needed to deal them a blow. I have heard a lot about things Graham did to other alphas throughout the years. But the worst thing he ever did was to teach his own child how to do it too. He created the female version of himself that was willing to do literally anything to promote herself and get what she wanted or felt entitled to. That reminds me, we need to have a talk about her too. I need to ask Graham whether or not Reagan knew what he was planning on doing to me and Cheryl or not. As far as I am concerned, she is 15 years past when she should have met the goddess. I will have no problem backing out of my deal, as clearly, Graham didn't take our deal seriously, to begin with. He told me he could help me, and instead, his subversive interference cost me a great deal, my mate and son. He had better tread carefully today, or his daughter can be brought right back here, not to live, but for punishment to be administered. Since I know how much he likes to include children in his plans, I think that would only be fair. The warrior carried the chair down to the cell for me, and I am glad that there is a desk sitting there in the corner. I think that it would be a great place to put framed photos of him and Cassandra together to make his new home more like his old one. I waited to walk into his view as I mind-linked and told Silas to gather up at least 5 framed photos of Graham and Cassandra together and 5 more of just Cassandra for me, and bring them to the cells. He knew I was pissed and immediately sprung up to do it for me. I then linked Garrett to meet Silas at the entrance to the cells and wait for him to bring him the photos. The ones of Graham and Cassandra together will need to come down here. The ones of just her are to be removed from their frames and taken into the city for the pictures to be made into the biggest poster size that the place can make. I gave Garrett a few more instructions and then stepped into Graham's view. He is furious at being in here, and immediately jumped up from his cot and stalks up to the bars, and asked, "Why am I here, Blake? Why would you allow your gamma to assault me? Haven't I suffered enough today? Your mate killed mine. I am suffering and in pain. Why would you add to it?" I noticed that he was not shrieking at me when he spoke like he just did to the guard who took my chair down there for me. He is in full acting mode now and is trying to gain sympathy from me. He is acting pitiful and weak like he used to. It had worked for him too. I believed that he was a weak old man, that was not valuable to me or the pack. He was not made to do anything here. He did what he wanted, when he wanted, and no one messed with him about it. It was disgusting how far I allowed him to go, in my pack. That comes to a screeching halt today. I am ecstatic to give him that news. I am sorry, I will be sure to fill you in on why you are here. It has come to my attention that in your plan to get vengeance on Cheryl and me, you have overstepped. I am just confused as to why Cheryl and I were blamed for what had happened to begin with. We had no possible way to have known that Reagan would be harmed there. I didn't hurt her, we didn't instruct anyone to hurt her. I think you misplaced your anger from where it should be and placed it where it shouldn't have been, I told him. I don't want him to know that I already know everything. I am going to lie to him and say that we found Cheryl, just to see if he is willing to tell the truth. I just need to see how far he is willing to take his lies. I don't know what you are talking about, Blake. Reagan was attacked at Blood Tracker. I have never blamed you, or Cheryl for any of it. I don't know why you would even say that to me. I am sorry for the misunderstanding, but I don't deserve to be in the cells for a lie that someone else told you. I have never done anything to try to hurt you, Blake. I want to help you. I understand the pressures of being alpha. I have only wanted to help since I arrived here, in thanks to you for protecting us, Graham told me, and I am fine with doing it this way. I needed to work my anger out. Well, the problem is, Graham. We managed to find Cheryl, and Kevin, in the city. I had them both brought back here, kicking, and screaming all the way back, as a matter of fact. I spoke to her, and what she said, and what you are saying just doesn't match up. I have to tell you that she made some really good points while we were sorting this out. It does actually seem like you have been up to no good, Graham. I just came down here to let you know what is going on. I want to be as transparent with you, as you have been with me in this. So what I am going to do, is keep you locked up down here, until the DNA test I took with Kevin comes back. If he isn't my son, I will let you go. If he is my son, then we are going to have some real problems between us, Graham. I made sure I growled out his name at the end, and let Kona show himself to Graham. You know that she cannot be trusted, Blake. How many lies has she told you? I don't understand why you would even listen to her, Blake. I have to say that this is a crazy idea on your part. She could pay someone at the company to lie about the results. I just don't trust her. She is desperate and willing to do anything to make you believe her, Blake. She has killed 3 pack members just today, including my beloved mate, and your girlfriend. She has to be punished. She escaped once, she could escape again. You should put her in the cells, and I will stay in my home. On house arrest. Where would I go? I cannot leave Black Moon. I would be caught by the council, and most likely put to death. I am not a flight risk or a concern. She is. She just literally escaped, she will try again, you need to learn from my years of experience. I am trying to help you right now, Graham told me, and he is good. Under the guise of caring about me, he is twisting her actions around. I have to close my eyes in pain. Seeing him in action, knowing what I now know, makes me see just how I fell for it. He is smooth, and he acts like he really is concerned for you, but it is all incorrect. You are already here, Graham, and she is not doing well, which is exactly why they were caught. She is in the PAC hospital right now and she might not be able to be saved. So I have 2 warriors on her door, and I cannot take the risk of being brought out to the cells, I told him, and it was hard to keep my voice even. I already know that I am telling him the truth here. She really was not doing well. She probably did have an issue. What if she wrecked? What if they are both dead right now? I started to panic when logic kicks in. No, she is okay, I would have felt it if she died. But I was telling the truth about my suspicions. She really looked worse than normal this morning. I hope she is okay. I hope that when she calms down she realizes that she won't be able to live without me, and then comes back to me, with Kevin. I have called her phone 20 times to tell her that I will never hurt her again, but all my calls have gone to voicemail, with no answer. I tried to have my men track it, but I hadn't felt the need to put one on her phone. She rarely left, so I hadn't thought that there was a point to it. There was one already installed on each of the vehicles, so I knew I could find them if I needed to. I see they worked together smoothly as a team to get this done so that they could escape. I am sorry, I didn't realize that she was hurt. I hope she gets better soon. I know the pain of losing your Luna. I am still struggling with it myself as the pain is still fresh. I guess I just want the same freedom as she is getting. I would like to bury Cassandra on our property. That way she always stays with me. I do not think that is asking for much. She cannot stay in cold storage for too long. She will start to decompose, and I have given you nothing but complete loyalty while I have been here. I would like some respect myself here, Blake. I will not go to the hospital to harm Cheryl. I know that I reacted badly before, and made some threats. I just want to go and get my Luna, and take care of her. I will allow you to make the decision of what will happen to Cheryl. I know I am the wronged party, but you are the alpha. I know you will do the right thing, even if your mate was the one who killed mine. I know that because you are an honorable man, Blake Graham is laying it on thick and I am going to play his game. He is a liar, but I am interested in seeing what he is actually going to do. I linked Garrett, and said, plans changed. Leave the pictures of them together in my office. Send the warrior to do what I asked. Graham wants to keep lying, and I just want the opportunity to bust him in real life, and him not be able to talk his way out of it. Come and let him out of his cells in about 6 minutes, I just need a little head start on my plans. I broke the link. I opened my eyes to look at Graham. I had closed him so he wouldn't see me linking anyone. I frowned as if I was thinking about what he had said. I know that he will be coming to kill Cheryl as punishment for killing Cassandra. Plus I can get 2 birds with 1 stone. Graham will go to deal with Cheryl first. He will have to call Reagan on his cell phone to tell her what had happened to Cassandra. I can call Erin to go visit her, tell her the bad news, and see if she had known what was going on. I need to know. If she had, it is good for Aaron, as he has been wanting his kids back, and this was a way to get them back from her. I will let him be the judge of her reaction to his question, he will know if she is lying or not. Garrett will be here in 5 minutes. I am okay with you burying Cassandra on your plot of land. I do not have any keys with me. You know it has been over 15 years since we have used the cells, and we just haven't needed to carry them around with us. He is headed to get them now, and he will be here soon to release you, I told Graham, and he was very happy to hear it. I headed to the hospital and had Mark send 2 warriors to stand guard at the door. I had the nurse assign the room in her name so he could find it. I was inside and sitting on the couch, waiting for him. I had put pillows under the sheet on the bed and was just playing on my phone when I heard the fight start going on outside the door about 30 minutes later. I had told the warriors to not hurt him badly because I was the one who wanted to. I basically told them to take a fall. From the sounds of it though, Graham can still fight, and well. There was no bigger admission of guilt and a nod to all his lying than this moment right here. I could hear him screaming at Cheryl, as he fought with the warriors. "UBH, I swear I am going to kill you for killing Cassandra. How dare you do that? You will never leave this hospital alive. You might have saved Kevin, but you won't be able to save yourself." Graham was still screaming out in rage and fury as he got past the guards, and slammed the door into the wall as he entered the room. His eyes focused solely only on the figure lying in the bed. He launched himself on top of the bed and used his claws to start clawing where Cherry's head would be. His whole intent was to kill her. He is vicious as he keeps clawing at the sheet and pillows until he realizes that there was no blood. He yanks the sheet back and stared at the pillows in shock. The realization that he was played was instant, and he turns to run back out the door, freezing when he sees me standing there. "You lied, didn't you?" Graham said, as he already knows the answer. "I wasn't the one that started lying, now was I?" I asked him, with the pain that I hid from him earlier coming out. "Look, Blake. I am sorry for what I did. But this was all your fault. You were the one who overreacted to what Reagan had done. She was wrong for doing it, but you didn't have to kill her for it. I thought that you would be reasonable, and show some compassion, but you didn't. You sold her to Aaron to have the worst possible life, even after I paid you to not kill her. You condemned her, Blake, and she was RD by Michael on her first day there. All because of what Garrett and Mark told him. They hated her, and they plotted against her. They wanted her to be hurt by Michael. Plus Aaron's beta had his hands on her like 10 minutes after she arrived on their land. She didn't even know him. She had been protected and doted on her whole life, and you lowered her to the very lowest person in the pack. She had to submit like she was some kind of AWE. She should have had a choice in the matter of who she wanted to sleep with, and you took it all away from her. She was born to be Luna, the highest rank, not some pack slut to provide strong pups for the ranked wolves. It was shameful and embarrassing for her, and for us, but you didn't care about that at all. Only the fact that Cheryl had some mild pain, and discomfort. She didn't lose your pup, you could have given Reagan a lesser penalty. It was all in your hands, and instead, you wanted to kill her. What she did was a little bad, but not worthy of a death sentence, Graham told me. He calmed down quickly once he realized that I had set him up. It was that bad, Graham. It was. She lied to me and caused me to lash out in anger, but that was because she had drugged me. I had no interest at all in Reagan. I never wanted to sleep with her, so I already knew something was off, but I just thought it was because I was so angry. Garrett and Mark were the ones to find out the evidence of what she had done. They knew I would have never touched her any other way than being drugged up, and they were right. She has a history of this, I believe. It hasn't worked out for her the first time, yet she kept doing it. It took this very punishment to teach her a lesson, and get her to stop. To realize that her actions had consequences. To acknowledge that you couldn't protect her anymore when she went too far. I broke Cheryl's heart when it happened. I know that Reagan did it, not to become Luna, but because she is an evil, jealous person. She was mad because I picked Cheryl over her, I told him, and the anger on his face spurs me on again. Once I saw her, I knew who she was, as did my men. That *X video she did had gone viral, and she should have been embarrassed to have done it in the first place. To have tricked a man who clearly was in love with Raven, who Reagan was pretending to be. Reagan doesn't care about anyone else by Reagan until she became a mom. Until she trained and got focused on being strong, and being able to protect herself. She is a better person today than the day she arrived. So she may have been a breeder, but she was not a normal breeder. She was well taken care of, she had control of who she slept with after that first incident. We called and checked on her several times. Cheryl and I were horrified too when we found out what had happened there. I will be dealing with Garrett and Mark. They will not be getting a free pass here. I just didn't know the full story of what had happened there really had something to do with them. But you made an absolute choice to decide to hurt me, and my family. All for something we didn't have any part of or a hand in it. We knew nothing of what Garrett and Mark had done. We didn't ask her to be hurt or participated in it. You were mad at us when you should have been mad at Reagan. This whole thing was started by her, but you are just as delusional as she is, blaming others for your own actions. Grow up and accept responsibility for your own actions. I stopped long and looked back into the hallway. My men were all standing there and waiting to cuff Graham and take him back to the cells. The shame on both Garrett's and Mark's faces was clear. They knew that their actions were the direct result of why we were here right now. I am going to deal with them both. I am honestly thinking of just going to 1 beta, and 1 gamma, because I need to be able to trust my men to follow my orders, and do their jobs. The beta is to protect his Luna. He didn't do his job, in fact, he is the main reason we are here now. They both made up lies to get someone dealt with and hurt because they were being petty. They did that without a care in the world, and if it happened to their daughter they would be greatly upset too. I turned back to Graham to finish this. I provided you and your family safety and security here at Black Moon. I did it for a few reasons, but the main one was that I was very interested in Cheryl. Without her, I would not have allowed any of you to stay here on my land. You failed as a father, and instead of accepting that, and trying to help your daughter make changes to be a better person, you started a one-man crusade on trying to destroy my mate, my son, and me. Well, I will tell you, you have been successful. You destroyed us all. But your prize will not be the one that you wanted or expected. I plan on passing the same thing you did to Cheryl, back to you. Every day, for the rest of your life, I want you to realize that you are stuck in that cell because of what you did. This was all on you. If you took proper care of your wife, daughter, and pack, and were remotely a good alpha, you wouldn't have been in this situation. You are a smart businessman, but a bad alpha. You valued appearances, more than actual substance. You had a good mate, and yet from what I heard out of her own mouth when we spoke last month, you cheated on her for years. She never repaid the favor to you, and I really wish now that she would have. Maybe if she did, you would have realized the harm that you would be doing when you pushed me to be as unscrupulous as you had been. I promise you that you will be getting the same psychological abuse as you dealt me, my mate, and my son. You will not have an hour, day, or week go by where you don't realize that you, Graham, are the very reason that your mate is dead. You could have moved to Blood Tracker if you were so mad at Cheryl and me. You could have lived with your daughter and grandpups and had a wonderful life. But instead, you decided that this was what you wanted to do. So congratulations on the success you had here at Black Moon. I hope that you remember who I was before Cheryl. Because without her, everyone here could potentially be in danger when Kona finally explodes in anger, I told Graham. His face is pale and I can see that he finally realizes what he has done. I can see it in his eyes, he doesn't want to play anymore, now that he knows that his life is not worth living anymore. I bet he would have moved and skipped all his petty vengeance crap now, but it is way too late for that. Blake, I will give you all of my savings if you allow me to go. I will leave here and go live with Reagan, and I will even take Cassandra there to be buried. I will give you everything I have at this moment if you will just let me go. Graham asked me. I see the fear in his eyes. It is way too late for that. I knew that he would be trying to buy his way out of it though. He always does, it is like his go-to for everything. I had deliberately not mentioned it to him yet for a reason. I wanted him to have a little hope, a chance of getting out of here alive. Why would I do that? He ruined my life with intent. I have to repay it in kind. But this is going to be the best part as I see him edging toward the door. I mind-linked Garrett, and the doorway was blocked by my men. He can't seriously think he can run away from this. He wouldn't make it 300 feet before we caught him. I won't be killing him, that would be too easy. I will never give him the easy way out. He will suffer for the rest of his life if I have anything to say about it. Oh yes, I seem to have forgotten to tell you that we already have possession of all your money. Thank you, Graham, for your thoughtful donation to Black Moon. It was really very generous of you. I will be sure to use your money wisely as I spent it in the future, I told him. I see Graham grab the rail at the end of the bed to keep from falling at the shock of what I just said. He looks like he wants to throw up, and he said, "What are you talking about? I haven't given you access to my account." You didn't have to, Graham, we took it earlier, right after you logged in to send the money for Reagan's new home. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that I just can't find myself willing to lift her banishment. So she won't be coming here to live at Black Moon. We also changed the password to your account. We run it now. You won't be leaving the cells ever again, so be sure to look at the moon tonight on your way back to your cell. I heard it is beautiful tonight. Graham, I am only keeping you alive to torment you. Your punishment will only be lifted if my mate returns to me, and we both know that she won't. Oh, but I do have some good news for you, so you won't think that I don't care about you. If Aaron asks Reagan if she knew what you were doing, and the answer is yes, you will be seeing her again. I will have her brought back here, and after a time together, I will end her life right in front of you. You really forgot who you were dealing with, Graham. I will not play with you. You are as good as dead in my eyes right now. You better pray to the goddess each and every day that my mate is willing to come back, or your life will be more horrible than you can even imagine, I told him, and watched as my men handcuffed him with the silver cuffs so he couldn't phase and took him back to the cells. I don't feel better, even after letting him know what was going to happen. I only care about one thing. Getting my family to come back to Black Moon. That was it. I will start putting some ads up to try to contact her. I will hire some private detectives and trackers to find her. I will spend all of Graham's money just to get my mate back. No matter what the cost, it is worth it to me to have her back. I cannot live without her. Chapter 116 Raven's POV. We are in a small convoy of 6 SUVs heading toward the Black Moon Pack. We are going to stop about 4 miles away from their gate and get everything straight. We have a general plan, and a warrior is driving us as Brandon, and Justin got over it again in the back seat and again trying to find a flaw. Our son Jax and Kevin are in the last row talking excitedly about what we were about to do. We need to make sure that no one recognizes Brandon, Justin, or me. My dad called Olivia and she met him with the extra 2 vehicles of warriors to go with us. I can't appear there with my black hair. People still love to watch the video that started it all to this day. I still get recognized, but usually, they can't remember exactly where they know me from. I needed to change up my appearance, but I can't go blonde, as then I will look like Reagan. She lived there for a time, and I could be recognized pretty quickly by a long-time pack member. Olivia ran out and got me a luxuriously long red wig, one that I suspect will have me looking like Jessica Rabbit when I put it on. Brandon and Justin were both dealing with making a watertight plan and didn't know I was going to be disguised quite that way, but I didn't want any identifying traits showing. I needed to look like someone else, someone that when described, will not point them straight back to Blackadder. I know now that my mother has lived here with them for the last 15 years. I am glad that the wig was in sleek waves from an old Hollywood glam style. It did cover up some of my face, and that was going to help. I was going to be the closest one to the gate guards and I need them to stay calm, and not suspect anything. I need them to not realize that there is any problem until it was time to let them know there was a problem. The plan is that I will be asking them for directions to a little town about 30 miles from their pack. The Wi-Fi is hit or miss where we are, and our cell phones aren't working. Olivia had even bought a map for me to use while I was speaking to the guards. I was going to be alone in one of the SUVs. Olivia was now with Cole and council member Emerson in the SUV in front of us, and all of the items she brought me were in a bag at my feet. I had checked them all out, and she made me smile. The short black dress made it look like I was about to go hit the club, and I had cute black shoes to wear with it. I just hadn't worn 4-inch heels for a while now. I am only 33, but I still look mid-20s. I have good genes from my parents. In fact, when I am out with my older sons, people think that I am their older sister, right up until one of the boys gets in trouble. Then they realize I am their mom. Brandon and Justin are not going to like her part of the plan at all. Olivia told me that no one was going to suspect a thing unless they saw lights moving around across the street. She told me that the best thing to do was for me to pull up across the entrance to the gate so they won't see the 2 black SUVs when they parked across the street, for them to search. She insisted that they won't see them searching for the phone at all because all eyes will be on me. She gave me the name of the nightclub there in the city that I was trying to find, and that I will be singing there tonight, but I got lost. She said that they will be so busy trying to mind-link someone to take over their shift so they can go see me. They won't be paying any attention to what is going on across the street. I hope she is right. I wanted Cheryl to be able to prove her innocence. I know Graham did it. He is an A*S, and I know for a fact that he did it. It totally sounds like him. I am nervous though. She borrowed the dress from Simone, and the shoes too. We are the same height, and basically the same size. I do not know about the shoes though. I can count on both hands how many times I have worn heels this high. I am already tall, and they are uncomfortable. I would much rather have my slides, sandals, or tennis shoes on. I already know for a fact that seeing me dressed like this is going to set both of my mates off. I can absolutely guarantee it. They will not want me wandering around in this. I have been wearing exercise clothes, jeans, or shorts for the last 15 years. I rarely dress up, and when I do it is usually because Justin bought a beautiful dress that he wanted to see me in. But I don't have to wear high-heeled shoes, because we are still in our own room while I am wearing the dress. If I look good enough tonight, maybe I will wear back to the pack house for them. I am sure that they will both approve of it. They still love and want me, even after 15 years, and that really makes me the happiest out of everything. I will slip into the woods with Olivia to watch over me, and then she is going to help me get the wig on right. I have no idea how to do it myself. I am getting a little excited for my men to see me in it. We get there pretty quickly and the men started going over the plan. Who was driving, who was riding with who, and that the drivers had to make sure that they had all their people before leaving. My part was easy, distraction. I can tell this dress was skin tight, as I pulled the slim sleeves down to take off my sports bra. I left my underwear on and this dress was hugging all my curves. Brandon and Justin were definitely not going to be happy about this at all. I got the shoes on, and yet, I do not miss wearing them at all. Olivia goes right to work and has me bend forward so she can wind my hair up and put it under the wig cap. Here goes nothing, I think to myself as Olivia has me bend forward and she starts at the back and then slides the wig over my head. I feel a little weird, as the hair falls in place and Olivia pulls out a comb to smooth it down. This is much more hair than I usually have on my head, and I think that is what my problem was with it. This wig is a beautiful red and is even longer than my actual hair, going all the way down my back to my waist. I looked at Olivia, who handed me a bold red lipstick and told me to apply it as she made sure my hair looked presentable. "How do I look?" I asked Olivia as she smiled at me. "You look stunning. I can't wait for Brandon and Justin to see you in it," Olivia said with a smile as I packed my sports bra and my tennis shoes back into the bag. I smiled at Olivia as she said, "Just give me 1 minute to get out there, okay? I just want to get to where I have a good spot to stand, so I can see them when they first get their eyes on you. I must be unrecognizable then," and I give a laugh as I waited for her to head over to the group. I see her get her phone out to record, so I guess she wanted to capture this for me to see them too. It was getting just past dusk now, and they didn't see me at first as I crossed from the tree line to approach the group. Brandon was pointing at the map and where he wanted everyone to be parked. I could hear him reiterate that the boys, Kevin and Jax, could not be left behind. That they were to ride with Cole, Olivia, and council member Emerson when they left. Our SUV, the one I was going to be driving, was going to be the last vehicle, along with one that held 5 warriors from my dad's pack, that had joined us for this trip. We were going to run interference if we needed to, as all 5 men were armed, just like we were. Even if Blake did come out, he would think twice about messing with the council member. I could tell when some of the warriors noticed me and then more and more of the others turned to see what they were looking at, as they were clearly not listening to instructions anymore. Brandon kept giving out instructions and I see Justin stiffen up to his full height and take me in with a lazy gaze on my body. He always enjoys seeing me dressed up. I have to admit it is an ego boost. I saw him tap Brandon with his elbow. Brandon looked up to see me standing there, and the deep growl that resonated from him curled my toes in the shoes. He was able to clear his mind quickly and said, "No, no way, Raven. I know you want to not be recognized, but this is too much," he said as he approached me with Justin right behind him. They each leaned down to take in my scent as they were both getting wound up. Justin said, please tell me that you are willing to wear this all the way home too. You are always hot, but I have never seen you in anything like this before." He pushed the hair back from my shoulder and nipped his mark on my shoulder. I had to hold in the moan, as we are not alone out here. "I agree. I would like to see this dress on our floor as well," Brandon said, and I smiled and nodded at them both. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to be a redhead for a night, couldn't hurt. I had to stop myself from biting my lip. I would get lipstick on my teeth. I see my dad trying to hold in a laugh as Brandon and Justin's focus was only on me now, and not on passing out instructions to the group anymore. Dad took over as they stood on either side of me, and didn't even try to hide the fact that they had a lot of interest in the outfit. It is nice for the reminder that I am not just a mom or their mate, but a living breathing woman that they both still found desirable. I heard, "Gross. Dad, you know that we can still hear you come from Jax." Thankfully the sound of Kevin's laughter at Jax's remark made everyone laugh, as we got the plans down for tonight. "Cole, the plans have changed a little. Instead of your warrior driving the SUV belonging to Black Moon, it will be Justin and me in it. We can't allow our mate to be that close to unmated wolves. If they try anything, we need to be there to let them know it would be a bad idea to approach her," Brandon called out to my dad, who smiled and said, "I completely understand, guys. I happen to love a beautiful redhead myself." "Yes, that way we are riding back to Blackadder together," Justin said to me in the shell of my ear. His warm breath made me shiver a little. The warriors were mumbling, and I caught the words, "They are so lucky," as everyone went to the vehicles that they needed to be in. 3 of the SUVs would leave before us. They needed to get further down the road so they could turn around and double back our way. They could only park to start the search after I blocked them from the gate guard's view. One of the warriors was going to use his flashlight when we go to leave. It will take them a minute to scale the wall to come after us, and we may have to throw the keys away to make it harder for them with opening the gate. But I plan on being able to pull an "I'm so confused" act out as I try to get them to help me find the nightclub. I am not nervous. I just wanted this to be done quickly and we get out of here. We had about 5 minutes before they will start to suspect something. I plan on dragging my feet as I walked up to the gate. I send a quick prayer up to the goddess that we get away with this safely, and that everyone makes it back to their pack with no problems. Kevin knew his mom's former cell number by heart. He told us that once he and his siblings started to leave the pack, they had to know both parents' numbers and Beta Garrett's too. Just in case of emergency. He already programmed the number in my dad's phone. When the drop-dead time hits, we need to be able to find that phone. We will call it to locate it if we need to. I know that I need to not shut my engine off. The noise from my engine will cover the noise from the SUV that we are delivering back to Black Moon. Everyone is ready to go now, and Dad called me to tell me that it was show time. I was not scared. Justin and Brandon will be right behind me when I get there. There are excellent fighters who would protect me to the death, so I had no worries at all. I slowly pulled up and acted like I was lost, and slowly got out of the SUV with my map and a pen. They would sense that I was a she-wolf and that I was alone, as I left the windows down on my SUV. That let them know that I knew what this place was and that I knew I would be safe here to get directions. Justin was pulling slowly up the road, and then pulling over onto the grass to drive and park about 40 feet back from my truck, right next to the wall. Brandon was out of the truck by the time Justin was about to fully stop. "I am so sorry to bother you, but do you know how to get to the Leakin Lounge, in Clarksville? The coverage out here is really spotty, and I can't get a signal. I had this map in the glove compartment, but I can't read it." I mean, who knows how to read a map these days? I said to the 2 men at the gate. There were 2 more men in the shack behind them, and once they saw me, they hurried over to help me too. "I can read a map. But I know where the club is." "You are on the right way to get there," one of the younger men said to me and pushed through the 2 that were already at the gate to help me. "We can't let you in here, miss, but I can show you where you are." "Do you have any paper? I can write it down for you." Another man stepped up to assist me. I heard the 2 SUVs stop on the other side of the road, but the men didn't hear it because they were arguing back and forth with each other about the directions that they were trying to give me, and not suspecting that I posed any danger to them. I just kept up the pretense, as they had no idea that I could take out all four of them before they realized what was happening. I don't need to come in there, I wasn't trying to disturb you all. I just realized that this was a pack, so I turned around and came back to see if I could just get some help. I don't want to be late. I am singing tonight, I am supposed to take the stage at 9 p.m. I will be late if I can't find it. I just need to know how to get there, without wrecking, as I can't drive while looking at this map, I told them, and pretended to be frustrated. They proceeded to start arguing about the best route for me to take to get there again, when all of a sudden one of them said, "What is your name?" Such an innocent question. But I was not expecting it, so I said the first thing to pop into my mind, Jessica. I felt like Jessica Rabbit, so I might as well steal her name too. That is a beautiful name. I hope that you will come back to sing there again one night. I wish I could get someone to trade out with me. I would ride up there with you so you could make it there safely. Next time you can let me know when you are going to be up there. I wrote my name and cell number at the top of the map. You can just bring me with you next time to keep you safe. You can just drop me back off here when we are done, the youngest one said. He could only be like 20, or 21, years old. I have a son just across the street that is only 5 years younger than him. So the blush that graced my cheeks was a natural one. He thought he was charming me, instead of the actual embarrassment that I was feeling about his offer. I caught what he was throwing. He was going to stay with me all night. He didn't even try to hide what he was hinting at as he tossed that offer right out there for me. I knew we had about a minute before Justin, or Brandon, couldn't take it and ended up exploding in anger at this young man. "I am sorry, I have a mate," I said, and pushed my hair back to expose my mark. No need for overkill by showing them both marks, and plus, that would identify me too. "That doesn't bother me, Jessica," he replied back and then winked at me. I already knew what was about to happen. I saw the movement before they did and stepped back quickly as Justin pulled up and then parked the SUV right in front of their gate. 2 of the guards were immediately yelling at Justin and me, while the other 2 were mind-linking and calling for backup. Brandon and Justin were pissed and spoiling for a fight. "It bothers me though, Junior. Here are the keys to it. It belongs to your pack anyway. I am just returning it for your former Luna," Justin said as he threw the keys well over the wall toward a group of trees far away from their shack. Brandon came out and grabbed me possessively and gave a low and dangerous growl back at the gate guards. "Get in the truck," Justin said to me as he turned to run around to the driver's seat to adjust the seat back for him to drive. I hopped in the back and Brandon got in the front passenger seat. Justin whipped the SUV around to the other side of the road, by driving slowly across the median of the road. Brandon jumped out to go help them search for the phone. We could all hear it playing in an area of taller weeds, and Jax and Kevin ran over to find it. I was very thankful that it had enough battery to still be on, or we would have never found it. I can hear 2 vehicles driving up to the gates, as Justin had left the windows down as I had them when I pulled up. The vehicles were coming at a high rate of speed, and a short time later I see a handsome man climbing up the gate to see what we were doing. I can see him frantically looking around, and his eyes stop when they get to Kevin, who was now standing there holding his mom's phone in the air like a trophy. I bet this is Blake, but I was not sure. "Kevin, Kevin, please come back. I am so sorry for everything. I know you are my son. I will make it up to you and your mother. Just please come back to me. I have arrested Graham, and everything will be different from now on if you will just come back. I am so sorry, son, I am proud of you." I have been for a while. I just allowed my jealousy of thinking that you were not mine. I was crazy with jealousy and it made me mess everything up. Please, Kevin, come back to me, the man called out. I guess this is Blake. It doesn't matter anymore, Alpha. You said you have 3 pups, and you do. You don't have to worry about me anymore. I have found where I am supposed to be. Don't worry about Mom either. She almost died and she is still 50/50 right now on if she will survive what all you and Graham put her through. I will never leave her when she was the only one to care for me for the last 7 years. Bye, Dad, Kevin said to his father. It did not escape anyone's notice that he said Dad both times in a very sarcastic manner, before he jumped into my dad's SUV right behind Jack's, to leave. We all heard the roar of pain and fury as he sees Brandon, who is clearly lit up by the headlights of our SUV. He got further illuminated by the headlights of the SUV that my dad's warriors were in. They had been at the top of the hill to provide cover for us in case Black Moon started firing on us. I am sure that Blake is pissed, even more so at Brandon's pack being the one she ran to for protection. All the SUVs head out and Justin stays at the back so he and Brandon can look out for any headlights following us as we leave the area. We knew that the warriors had gone to look for them to be able to move the SUV we dumped right on the doorstep. I saw that his dad made it over the fence, phased in the air as he jumped off the roof of the SUV blocking the pack entrance. He chased us for miles, but he couldn't keep up with us. We were doing over 80 to get out of the area. He had no chance to follow us. We stopped when we got to the city and Jax and Kevin got into our SUV, as we split up to go back to our separate packs. The boys were in the back talking and Brandon leaned forward to go through the phone and sent the audio file to all 3 of our phones. Kevin didn't know what all had happened as far as Graham's plans for him. It was for his mother to decide if she wanted to tell him. She may now have ever wanted him to know. I cannot believe how well Kevin did tonight. Most kids, even when they have been mistreated, would have run back, wanting the love and care they had been denied all this time. But clearly, this young man knew what all his mom went through to get him to freedom, to get him safely away from his pack. He probably never knew that his life had actually been in danger, but he was smart. Things like that have a way of getting out, and being exposed. I heard the pain and the sorrow in his father's voice. He was really going to make changes. He had Graham locked up and he seemed serious about what he had said. He didn't try to hide anything and he saw that there were several people out of the SUVs. He had to know that we knew what had happened at Black Moon. He never tried to deny it, just took the opportunity to beg Kevin to come back to him, and to bring his mother back too. I am going to mention it to her. She deserves to know. Knowing that he acknowledged his mistake, and was correcting it, may change things for them, but I doubted it. I had the same bottom line myself. He took it too far. Just remembering that first time I saw Justin sleeping with Reagan, made me upset quickly. Even to this day, it was a very disgusting thing to remember happening. I knew Justin could feel my emotions. He didn't know what upset me, but he was worried about me. I smiled as he reached out to take my hand. I really hated it at first when the goddess gave Justin back to me. But after a while, I realized that the goddess giving Justin back to me was actually a gift. He was a wonderful father and mate. I cannot imagine my life without him. They had the gate open for us as we pulled in, and I know that either Brandon or Justin had mind-linked them to notify them that we were almost back. Both gates were secured back behind us, and the ground plates were brought up and ready to go to keep the solid gate from budging. I know why Brandon stepped into the light. He doesn't hide. He wants Black Moon to come here. He wants them to attack because he is going to end it right now. He is forgetting that there was a second pack the goddess warned us about. At this time, I am sure that it is Blood Tracker, but until we have confirmation of that, we will wait, and watch them both. We will continue to train our people, and prepare them for war. We still had a 5-year window before conditions were supposed to be where the goddess was warning us. We will wait, we will prepare and train, until we are ready on our side, so we can take it out of their hands and attack them ourselves if we need to. Chapter 117 Reagan's POV. We had a surprise guest for dinner tonight. Thankfully, Aaron showed up with food that he brought himself. I had no idea that he was coming and had just cooked for us tonight. Clive helped, and these days, especially with 9 children in the house, it is a family affair. I realized how easy I had it growing up. So easy, that the only thing I knew how to do was my hair, makeup, how to drive, and how to shop. That was the complete extent of my knowledge. My parents spoiled me, and that didn't help. I like who I am now, even with having been a breeder for the pack. I was lucky that Erin made it just for her ranked wolves. I felt I did a service for Darren and Judy, who loved and took care of their 3 pups so well. They treated them wonderfully well. They had a very balanced life, they had chores and were rewarded for doing them. They were excellent parents, and I enjoyed seeing my children thrive with them and growing up to be responsible pups. I gave them a total of 3. Darren loved Judy, and it hurt him for her to bear the pain of him cheating with me. But this pack doesn't have access to high-tech options like artificial insemination. We do things the old-fashioned way here at Blood Tracker. Their oldest Damon was over 13 and a half now, and he was going to be the next beta here at Blood Tracker. He was very strong already, and an excellent fighter. His little sister, Haley, was 12 now, and she was very pretty. I was glad that the goddess gave her just enough of her father's features to keep it from being obvious to her that she was my daughter with Darren. I worried about it, even though Aaron had alpha commanded everyone not to speak of our deal here at Blood Tracker. He wanted Darren and Judy's children to be told by them when they were old enough. They had been happy with 2, until Judy got baby fever and wanted 1 more pup. I was happy to help them, and little Justin was now 4 years old. I didn't like the name, it brought back some really bad memories, but it was their child, and they liked the name. They didn't know much about my backstory. I didn't like to talk about it. I asked her once and she said that they named Damon because they wanted a D name like his father. They both loved the name Haley, so that is how she got her name. They named Justin a J name just like his mom, Judy. It was just that simple. Aaron knew he was coming earlier, as he has fresh food with him. He brought a lot of fried chicken, and mashed potatoes with him, to help with the food stretching to include him. I appreciated it, it did help us out. I swear the oldest boys have a hollow leg, as they are eating us out of house and home. Blood Tracker is not as financially strong as Black Moon is, but Dad has helped us here too. I have a freezer, and the boys help their dad by hunting for food. Dad paid to have our home built onto, as we needed several more bedrooms after I took my children with Aaron into my home. We changed up the layout of the home too, and increased the living area as well. Our oldest daughter Tatiana wanted to learn to play piano, and Clive had taken her into the city to take lessons. She plays beautifully and we have a music room that includes several instruments now. She didn't get her talent from me, and I ended up being amazed at Clive as he has taught several of the children to play the guitar. Aaron never shows up alone when he does come out here to our home to visit, so the fact that Eloise wasn't with him was an immediate red flag to me, and something to be thankful for. I knew he had an agenda now, so I watched and waited while he spoke to our kids. It was good for all of them to get to spend some good quality time while we ate. The table was full of joking and laughter. It was good for our children to not have to put up their guard tonight. Eloise and her children with Aaron were not here to make everything harder on everyone. Eloise still tried to give my children with Aaron a hard time, especially Trevor. Their oldest son, Austin, was almost 10 now and he is a complete brat. There is no other way to say it. He is cocky, and gets away with murder around here, because Eloise keeps anyone from telling Aaron about all the stuff he does. He plays hurtful tricks on the boys he is jealous of, and he picks on the children younger than him. I am worried about how this pack will be when he takes over. I guess I will have to leave here at that point. I don't think that I will be able to handle him, and Eloise, if I don't, get out of here. I steered clear of him myself these days, as I don't like him around me or my children. I know I can't trust either one of them around us, as Austin will always try to make Trevor look bad by twisting what actually happened. I have cameras on my home, and in my home because of Austin. Their younger child, Anais, is not a problem. She is 10 months younger than Austin. She is more just kind of annoying, she whines and gets her way. I think that he picks on her, and that is why she is like that. Eloise thinks that her children are the best in the pack, and will tell anyone who will listen that as soon as they get older, that fact will be clear to everyone. She is living in a dream world. She is so jealous of the 4 children that I gave Aaron, that she could spit nails. Any of my children are better than hers. I know she knows that too, but she will never admit to it. It is okay, she glares, but gives me wide berth these days. She knows if I were to fight her for Luna, she will die that very day. So she hates doing it, but she avoids me as much as she can. So, have Graham or Cassandra been by lately? Aaron asked me. He occasionally asks about them, as he likes to know when they are going to be coming to Blood Tracker to visit. No, it will be next weekend. They only come once a month, they can't help it. They both get upset seeing the scars that I have. They still have a hard time seeing me. My mother has always been beautiful, and I look a lot like her. She still flinches each time she sees me. Especially in short sleeves. The ones on my body are worse, much deeper, than anywhere else. It is hard for her as they tried to protect me, my whole life. They still feel like they are to blame over me getting hurt. But it is my fault for trying to gain more power at Black Moon. I should never have approached Blake, and then lied to him. The only other people who bear some blame in what happened are Michael, Mark, and Garrett. They hated me, and the lies they told, factored into where Michael was willing to work with Jennifer and Tabitha. He wanted to hurt me again, so he helped them. It is as simple as that. I still deal with it to this day, I told him and tilted my head to look at him. I don't know exactly why he is here, but I know it will be coming soon. He is very straight in his approach with people. I have to wonder if my father did something to piss Blake off, or what happened. Aaron asking about my parents, when I can count on both hands how many times they have spoken to each other in the last 15 years, makes me wonder what is going on. I cleaned the leftovers from the table as the children emptied their plates in the garbage and loaded their dirty plates and utensils into the dishwasher. Clive and Aaron helped the youngest to load theirs. By the time I got done, I just had to load the cups and servings bowls to start the dishwasher. It was really convenient to have 2 dishwashers, especially with this many children. We added the second one when we built onto the house, and made the first floor a lot bigger. We grabbed our drinks and followed the children outside. My dad had built them a rather large playground, that we also let the other children in the pack play on it too. It is not fair just to keep it to ourselves. It was very sturdy, and I know it cost a lot to build. I had Dad build it to the side of the property, and added benches for other mothers to sit on. We settled into the seats on our property to watch our children play with their friends. I haven't seen them for a while, I was just wondering. I saw them a few months back when I was heading out to run a training, but they didn't stop. I missed them. I am sure that they have been excited about getting to see our children more often now, Aaron said, bringing the subject back up. Now we are on familiar ground. He always makes a dig each time he has to come out here to see our pups. He totally knows that Eloise and her actions were the sole reason for it. But as his true mate, she never gets punished properly for anything she does to my pups with Aaron. She is more cautious about her actions now, and she has made some friends, but not because they like her. They want the perks that come with being friends with the Luna. I have all heard them talking behind her back. She is wrong if she thinks that they like her at all. They all think that Austin is horrible brat, but they are careful with what they say around her. She is very defensive about him. I think in her heart that she knows that he is lacking. Because he is lacking, he has no empathy for anyone else, even his own sister. He is already just like his mother, a conniving backstabber that is willing to do anything to get what he wants. Again, I know him, I know exactly who he is, because I was him. I nodded at Aaron, and then leaned back in my seat as I watched the kids run around. I see we are finally going to get to the point now. I have been waiting patiently for him to get to his agenda. They have enjoyed getting to see more of our children together, Aaron. But you know as well as I do, that was not why they are here with me. They are here because you mate is willing to do literally anything, to make sure that none of our children take over this pack. She doesn't care how strong they are, or that her children will never be as strong as they are. I didn't even know how strong they are, until the last visit from Mom and Dad. What do you mean by that? About them being stronger than you knew? Aaron asked me in surprise. Mom wanted to talk to me, much more than usual, the last time they were here. In fact, while Dad, Clive, and the children were outside measuring off for a pool to be installed, we had a long talk. She has never been a big talker to me, she lets Dad do the bulk of the talking. She only speaks when she really has something to say. She seemed to have a lot to get off her chest, and it was the best talk we have ever had, I told him. I didn't get into detail with him, as I didn't want him to know just yet. I was still stunned by it, and Clive had been too. But he agreed that he kind of knew that all of my children were powerful, he could feel it since they were born. If Aaron knew that my children were descended from the moon goddess herself, he would take them away from me, and even though they are strong, they are still not all able to defend themselves against Eloise. I cannot risk it, they need to stay here until they are 18 years old, and then they can make their own decisions. Plus, she would hate them even more to know that they are descended from the moon goddess herself. I can see that Aaron still wanted to know what I meant by stronger, but he let the subject drop. Well, did you get to speak to your father too? Aaron asked. I did at lunch. Mom had him write a check out for the pool, and she had him write it for extra. She wanted for me to have a bank account of my own. So I deposited half of it into mine, and half of it into mine and Clive's account too, for when we want to build it in the spring. I had told her that they could have waited to do it, but she insisted it had to be done now. She needed us to be taken care of for some reason. She was pretty vague about it, but apparently she had a dream and she wanted to protect me. Dad doesn't really speak as much to me since the incident. Every time he looks at my face, or if I have a short-sleeved shirt, or shorts on, he gets very angry at seeing the scars. He is proud of me for being able to protect myself now, I know that he is impressed at what I have learned. I can tell he is still very upset that he didn't make me train to be able to protect myself from Jennifer, Tabitha, and Michael. He let me do what I wanted, and I wanted to be spoiled and lazy. I guess after you have a near-death experience, it changes you. I know that it changed me, I told him. I don't know exactly why he is here, but I know it will be coming soon. He is very straight in his approach with people. I have to wonder if my father did something to piss Blake off, or what happened. Aaron asking about my parents, when I can count on both hands how many times they have spoken to each other in the last 15 years, makes me wonder what is going on. I cleaned the leftovers from the table as the children emptied their plates in the garbage and loaded their dirty plates and utensils into the dishwasher. Clive and Aaron helped the youngest to load theirs. By the time I got done, I just had to load the cups and servings bowls to start the dishwasher. It was really convenient to have 2 dishwashers, especially with this many children. We added the second one when we built onto the house, and made the first floor a lot bigger. We grabbed our drinks and followed the children outside. My dad had built them a rather large playground, that we also let the other children in the pack play on it too. It is not fair just to keep it to ourselves. It was very sturdy, and I know it cost a lot to build. I had Dad build it to the side of the property, and added benches for other mothers to sit on. We settled into the seats on our property to watch our children play with their friends. I hate that it happened to you, Reagan. I really do. If I could go back in time to be able to change it for you, I would. I have never wished any harm to come to you. I hate that it happened because of lies by Garrett and Mark. Michael was swayed to do something that he normally wouldn't have. Michael was actually a pretty good guy, he just believed his friends, when he shouldn't have. I never intended for you to ever be hurt here at Blood Tracker. You are a very strong she-wolf, and I am proud of each of the children that you have given me. I know that Darren and Judy feel the same about their 3 pups, and I know that without a doubt, Clive loves you, and your children together. If we could go back to that first day that you were brought here, things would have gone differently. I would have stopped Garrett and Mark, I would have made sure that Michael never hurt you. I would have made sure that what happened in my office after you arrived, would have never happened. I messed up, and I was young. I made a huge mistake taking you to my office like that, and got the girls even more jealous of you by doing it like that. I still live with a lot of regret about that. I am truly sorry that you suffered so much, Aaron told me, and I appreciated him saying that. He never really apologized to me for how I was treated when I got here. Before. He did go too far, but my actions were the very reason that it happened. I bore as much fault as he did. I have worked through a lot lately. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you saying that. My punishment was harsh, but I was motivated by jealousy, as well back then. I made a big mistake too. That is how I ended up here. If my parents had done more to work with me when I was younger, maybe I would not have ended up here like this. I had everything I could possibly want, but not their time. Mom was always shopping, or alone. I just found out when we spoke on her last visit, how hard it was for her to see what Dad was allowing to be done to my sister. When I was younger, I never considered Raven to be my sister, despite us having the same mother. To me, she was a mistake, one that never should have existed. I got my opinion straight from my dad. He went out of his way to poison me against her from day one. He hated her because seeing her reminded him of what he did. It made him feel guilty, and he took his anger out on her. I feel bad about what I did to her, and if I could, I would tell her that. Now that I have experienced what I have, I know that the moon goddess meant for this to happen to me. I was too cocky and didn't have any humility at all. Sometimes she knocks us all the way down, for us to make necessary changes. It is what she did to me. I know that all that I experienced was a direct result of what I have done to others. Mom apologized to me, and she told me she loved me before she left. She was kind of cryptic in what she said to me. I hope to get to clarify it with her on her next visit, I told Aaron, and the expression on his face was confusing. He looked upset for a moment and then it was gone. I just shook it off. He is probably feeling bad as he misses his parents. He never talks about them, and maybe this conversation is bothering him. It almost sounds like she had never spoken to you like that before, Aaron said to me. She has never spoken to me like that before. Mom has always been a little standoffish. It was almost concerning, actually. She told me that she hoped that I made the right choices when they were presented to me. That things were going to be changing very soon. I have no idea what she would be talking about. When she mentioned that the decisions I made would be very important to my children, I was a little scared. I love my children and I do not want anything bad to happen to them, any of them. I would protect them all with my life. She also said that she hoped I didn't allow anger to poison me. I have been happy for a while now. I cannot imagine why she would think that I would make bad choices. I try to think about what I am doing before I do it. I make sure that I do things differently than the teenage girl I used to be. One who was willing to do anything to get what I wanted in life. I am not her anymore. In fact, that is another reason that Dad doesn't normally speak to me. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, I told Aaron. Yet, I have heard numerous stories of things your dad used to do back in the day. Is he back to doing things like that again? Aaron asked and kept his eyes focused on the kids. I have no idea what Dad is doing actually. When I first got hurt, Dad was furious and wanted payback. I told him I was fine. I also told him that he needs to leave everything alone. I know that it has been 15 years since we arrived here. Things are good. I answered him the same way, every time he mentions it to me. I don't need him to punish anyone on my account. Things happened as they were supposed to. I believe that it happened to me, because of what I did to Raven. It was all my fault and I deserved the punishment the goddess gave me for it. I don't need him to interfere, it is done, I told Aaron. I am glad that you have grown into such a great mom, Reagan. I admit I had my doubts when I first saw you. You looked more like a beauty queen than a potential mother. But you always have the children's best interest at heart. You were willing to incur my wrath by fighting Alois, to make sure that our children were safe. In my heart, I knew you were right to do it, but the mate bond is so strong. I don't know if I could have stopped her. So despite all that, I am very happy that the children are thriving with you. I trust you. I can tell you are telling me the truth, Aaron said and settled down further into his chair to watch the kids run around. That was cryptic too. I know there is more to why he is here, but I guess I can wait on hearing it. I am sure he will tell me sooner or later. Chapter 118 Reagan's POV. Ken, Henry, John, and I got into the woods to hang out and play. Trevor ran up and asked me. Before I can answer him, he gets an emphatic, no, from both Clive and Aaron. Trevor was speaking to all of us, but both men were quick to answer him, and shut him down. I know that something has happened, and I guess I have been kept out of the loop on this too. They clearly know something that I don't, as they know that the children like to go into the woods. I need to sort this out. Clive and I usually make up what they can and can't do, but Aaron is the father to all three of them, and he is very protective of them. I am sorry, son, I know that you three are bored, but how about you guys just run some laps, racing each other to see who is fastest, and then spar a little. I will see what is going on, with the woods being off limits, I told him. He nodded at me, as he was surprised at how vehement both Clive and Aaron just were to him. I was too. He ran off to go tell his brothers that they couldn't go into the woods. I could see the disappointment from here on their faces. They like to climb and try to sneak up on each other in the woods. It is good practice to be stealthy, and it will come in handy for them one of these days. It was a game to try to catch the other two, before being found. John was seriously the best of the three of them. Trevor was 15 now and he was the largest of them. They were all Aaron's sons, and they were the most independent of all of my children. They liked to explore. They liked to get out and do things. Hanging out at home was not anything that any of them liked to do. The older they get, the harder it is to keep them safe, but my Trevor is a rule follower, thankfully. I wasn't when I was growing up, I was a rule breaker. He clearly gets that following the rules thing from Aaron. They all started racing against each other on the far side of the playground. Some of their younger brothers started racing with them. They had no way to beat their big brothers. They were younger, and their legs were not as long as their big brothers' legs were just yet. But they had fun running along behind them and being included in whatever they were doing. Okay, you two, just what is going on? You both know that the boys play out there. Why can't they go out into the woods? They have played in them their whole lives. I can go with them, if you would prefer them to be watched when they go, I said to them, and Clive said, no. It is not safe in the woods anymore. Stay out of the woods until we either get the border put up, or have caught them. We have a problem, and 2 members of the pack have already been killed, Clive told me, and I could tell that he was very upset at what had happened. The potential danger for our family was obviously not a low threat level. Okay, guys. I am going to need to know what we are up against. How can I protect the children if I don't know what the problem is? I asked them, and Aaron sighed and leaned his head on the back of the chair to look up at the sky. The 2 pack members that were killed were warriors who were on patrol last night. They were not mated, thankfully, but it was bad enough that we had to go and tell their parents. The fact is, and keep this to yourself, there are vampires in our territory. We have sent some trackers out to try to find them. It looks like there were at least 2 of them, potentially 3 of them. The men barely had time to call for help before they were knocked unconscious. They were both basically drained of their blood. It was a horrible way to go, and we have increased the night patrols to deal with them. Since they can come out during the day, we have been looking into places that they can be hiding. We just haven't been able to locate them. I believe that they could be in a local town and staying at a hotel during the day, and coming out at night. I called Blake earlier today, to beg for funds for me to be able to build a fence like he has on his property, here at Blood Tracker. But it will take at least 2 months to get it completed. We have to get the raw materials here, and I don't need the fancy pressure plates at the top of the wall, like he has. I just need for my pack members to be safe, Aaron told me, and I am shocked. I have gone my whole life and never seen a vampire, unless you count Robert Pattinson in those movies he made. I am suddenly very frightened and worried about my children. I went from happily watching the children play, to wanting to take them inside right now. It is okay, beauty. I will protect you and the children, Clive said to me to try to calm me down. I feel like my chest is tight, and I realize that I am having a panic attack. Aaron looks upset that I have gotten so upset over this, but I have real fear right now. I don't want anything to happen to my children, or him. He is a ranked wolf. He could be in danger if they go to search for them, and they are found. The men will have to deal with them. I know nothing about vampires, other than they drink blood. How often do they have to do it? Why were they here? We have never had this problem in our area, ever. Why now? Clive reaches out for my hand and starts rubbing circles on the back of it. I love it when he does that for me, but I am not calming down this time. I am absolutely terrified. I am sure they know that this is a pack, they have an unlimited food source here. I know that they have heightened senses and speed. We cannot outrun them, my babies would not stand a chance against them. Is this why you came to visit us? To let us know. You could have told Clive that he could tell me, as the mother to 4 of your children I should have known, so I could be prepared to protect them. I am terrified for my pups now. Goddess, why are they even here? We need to get rid of them as soon as possible. They cannot stay here. We need to kill them right now. I will not take a chance on them getting one of my babies, I said to them both. Aaron, we all heard a yell coming from behind us. We turned to see a scared-looking Eloise standing there, and she is not playing scared, she really is scared right this minute. What is wrong? What happened? Aaron asked her as he ran to her side. Austin wanted to go see a vampire in real life, apparently, and snuck out of the pack house to go find one. I found this note in his room. I don't know when exactly he left, but I cannot find him anywhere, and he isn't replying to the mind link, Eloise said, and I realized that the men were killed last night. Almost 24 hours, and he told his family, and not mine. Is he serious? How could he have done that? He knows his sons love to play in the woods all the time. Aaron, were you going to wait until one of our pups was killed to tell me about the vampires? Why didn't you tell me last night too? Or is it just Eloise, and her 2 pups that you want to protect? I know that she is on you day and night to allow Austin to inherit the pack. Is this your new way of getting rid of Trevor? I said to him. I saw the color on his cheeks, and she had the same bloom of embarrassed color on hers too. I hit the nail on the head. I knew that she was planning on it, that has been her goal in life. To take it away from Trevor, and give it to her own son. I am disgusted at them both. At least Aaron couldn't go through with it, and wouldn't let them go into the woods. But Austin may be out there, or this could be a trap. I honestly do not know what to do. My gut reaction is to go into the house with my children right now. I am terrified down to my bones right now. I was coming to tell you, Reagan, I just did tell you. We just don't want the boys in the woods. I want them safe too, Aaron said, carefully dancing around the subject of his named heir. He had already named Trevor as his heir, but all he would have to do to change it would be to make another announcement. Just tell the pack that he was going to allow his son with his mate to take the position away from Trevor. That was it. I know that she has been on him constantly to do just that. She doesn't tell me to my face, but she always implies what she is going to do. Aaron really needs to grow a pair. He is led too easily by this woman. Eloise is not a good person, and she is never going to stop, until her own child is ready to take over the pack. She is just terribly greedy. I never asked for my child to be made the alpha. That was always Aaron's idea. Just like it was his idea to name his firstborn after himself. Aaron Trevor, who goes by Trevor to avoid confusion. Eloise didn't know that was his name, and when she gave birth to Austin, she wanted to name him Aaron, after his father. I heard that Aaron hemmed and hawed for 5 minutes before finally telling her that he had a namesake already. She was mad. She already had a plan to name all their children with the initials A and E for their initials. She went with Austin after that, but she never forgave me for allowing Aaron to name our son as his namesake. See, delusional, because that was all on Erin, not me. I can feel the fear on her, as I was scared for my children too, and I started gathering them up. I always line them up into 2 lines to go back inside. I started that process with the oldest in front to lead them. I follow behind them after counting and making sure that they are all there. It helps me be able to keep a track of them better as we head inside. The girls usually go to my room and Tatiana, mine, and Clive's oldest, helps get the shower started for her sisters, while I run the tub for the youngest one, Sarah Beth. Trevor and Henry start the showers for the boys to get theirs, and I cannot tell you what a big help they are. I had just gotten my children lined up to go in, when we all heard an ear-piercing scream coming from the woods. I sent the kids on to the house and told Trevor and Tatiana to take the children upstairs, and lock all of the doors. I will help Clive with this. I see no other warriors, and it is just me, him, and Erin here to be able to fight well. No, Reagan, you have to go with them. They will not know what to do, and what if something happens to both of us? You need to go with them and secure all the doors and windows on the first floor. Warriors are coming now to help, they are heading here already with weapons. Go get the gun from our room and protect our babies, remember what I told you about the safety. If you see red, then they are dead, because the safety will be off. If you see the red dot, remember one is already in the chamber, all you have to do is point and shoot. Use both hands to hold the gun steady, Reagan. I love you. Clive told me, and I am scared. I don't want him to go. He gives me a quick kiss and then shreds his clothes as he runs towards the vampires chasing Austin right back into the pack from the woods. Austin is bringing them here, to kill our pack members. I know he is young, but that was incredibly stupid. Why would he do this? I already know the answer already, he does what he wants. Maybe this will scare him straight. I am already yelling out instructions to Trevor, Henry, and John, as we approach the house. I need them to help me make sure all the windows on the first floor are securely locked. I am having Tatiana and Atlas take the kids upstairs to our master bedroom, we will be right behind them. We will need for them to check the windows up there and make sure that they are secure too. We got all the windows on the first floor checks and we racked up to the second floor, we all split up to get the windows on the second floor. Tatiana did what I told her to and put the children nearest the door, in case we needed to run out of here. She had them all sitting on the floor. She is on one end of them, and Atlas is at the other. He has our youngest, Sarah, with him, and she is crying. I feel like crying too, little one. I feel helpless, like I cannot do anything at all to help with this. I can hear screaming outside from Eloise, and I have to look out to see what is going on. I had already grabbed my gun, the moment I entered the room. I kept my finger lying flat alongside the barrel. I was taught well, you only put your finger on the trigger, when you need to shoot. Never at any other time. If you did, you could get scared, and your hand could unconsciously tighten your grip and shoot. Noon wants that to happen. I am okay with a gun, they do make me nervous, but right now, I am very thankful for it. I am not the best shooter here, but I am not the worst either. I am glad of all the practice hours that Clive forced me to do. Until I wasn't as scared of the gun, as I used to be. I see that there are indeed 3 vampires, 2 men, and 1 woman. I see warriors pouring in to help from several different directions, as Clive and Erin fight them. It seems like it is the female that is after young Austin, as she slipped past Erin and Clive. Eloise is even helping as the female has Austin pinned against the tree outside of our room. She is trying to bite the female to get her to release him, but she is jumping away when the female turns. Why is she giving the female time to attack Austin? She needs to grab that vampire's leg, and slam the vampire into the base of the tree. While she is dazed, just tear her throat out. That is what I would do. I would kill her before she even had a chance to touch one of my pups. Why is our Luna so bad at fighting? Just like Blake wants everyone to train in his pack, Aaron does too. Except Aaron always does what his mate wants. This time it looks like it is going to cost them. I see Clive and Aaron struggling. They are fighting two surprisingly strong vampires. They may look frail because they are so pale, but I know how strong Clive and Aaron are. These vampires must be very strong to not be being beaten down by them. I am looking for my shot. I opened my window, and it is silent in the room. Trevor locked the door as soon as they all entered. He is on the far end with Atlas. Henry and John both stopped and sat by Tatiana, so they can help the children escape from our room if needed. I am glad that they got all the windows on the second floor locked. I cannot allow anything to happen to Clive. He is the love of my life. He has been with me for 15 years, and I don't know if I can make it without him. I never want to know the answer to that question. I can hear the scream come up from Austin, as the female vampire latches onto his neck and start to drink from him. She is desperate to get his blood, and I believe that they can tell that the warriors are heading this way. I opened the window as I can tell that Austin is done for. The bigger male punches Aaron hard and he falls to the ground unconscious. I see Clive really struggling with his too. As the male comes to Austin and starts drinking from him with the female, Eloise shrieks louder. The one fighting Clive goes to knock him out too, and my bullet catches him in the shoulder. He glances up in surprise straight up at my window, and before I can even scream he is jumping up from the ground and walking up the shingles to get to me. I am not waiting for him to get to me. I emptied my entire magazine into him. I was coming to tell you, Reagan, I just did tell you. We just don't want the boys in the woods. I want them safe too, Aaron said, carefully dancing around the subject of his named heir. He had already named Trevor as his heir, but all he would have to do to change it, would be to make another announcement. Just tell the pack that he was going to allow his son with his mate to take the position away from Trevor. That was it. I know that she has been on him constantly to do just that. She doesn't tell me to my face, but she always implies what she is going to do. Aaron really needs to grow a pair. He is led too easily by this woman. Eloise is not a good person, and she is never going to stop, until her own child is ready to take over the pack. She is just terribly greedy. I never asked for my child to be made the alpha. That was always Aaron's idea. Just like it was his idea to name his firstborn after himself. Aaron Trevor, who goes by Trevor to avoid confusion. I dropped the empty magazine from my gun and slammed the new magazine in, as the vampire rose back up and looked at me in surprise at shooting him. I had 3 full magazines in my jeans pocket, and I heard the nightstand drawer open, and then Trevor crawls across the floor quickly with them to start reloading the empty one next to me. I am glad he did it without being told to. I am so proud of him. I might need him to do this for a little while. I slowed him down, but I didn't hurt him like I wanted to. I remember that I needed to hit him in the heart, and the head. I have silver bullets in this gun. It was loaded for werewolves, but silver is alleged to work on vampires too. So we have like a 50-50th shot at this to work. I honestly do not know if it will or not. I was hitting him center mass, but it just slowed him down. I know that we needed a wooden stake, or to cut their heads off. But since I wasn't informed we even had this problem, I am woefully unprepared for this. I will work with what I have right now. I am almost sick with fear, and our warriors are almost here. I can see them in the distance pouring in from different directions. Eloise is screaming her head off, and I feel relief when the male vampire falls on her and starts drinking her blood. I only care about Clive out there. She had her chance to end the fight by killing the female, and she didn't take it. She just kept lunging away from the vampire in fear. You can't do that, it is your pup you are protecting, what was she thinking? Eloise's shrieking voice is echoing in the air, but I can't look at her. The female has now joined the male drinking from Eloise. The male vampire in front of me is smiling as he approaches me again and started cooing at me. Oh, I cannot wait to taste your blood, my fierce little wolf. I can smell fear all over you, and yet you still fight. I see why now, you are protecting the children. I have hit a jackpot at this house, haven't I, lovely? I heard something else hit the roof of the first floor, and I see Clive's furious face as he approaches the vampire from the side. I started shooting at the vampire again as he approaches me as I kneel on the floor in front of the window. I change up this time, and move my shots higher as he backs away from the forceful blow with each shot that hits him. He still has the same cocky grin on his face, and all of a sudden he kisses at me, and then jumps gracefully from the roof to the ground. They all three run away from us back in the direction they came. They are amazingly fast. I would have been impressed at their speed, if I weren't so terrified. The first two immediately ran into the woods ahead of him. But he stopped and turned to look at me. He then bowed at me before his laughter rang out as he followed them into the woods and out of my sight. Clive climbs in the window to pull me to him, and tries to calm me down. All my adrenaline is gone now, and I am shivering in fear. I cannot stop shaking, and the warriors outside are helping to take Aaron, Eloise, and Austin to the hospital. I know Austin is gone, I don't know about Eloise yet. I feel bad for her and Aaron. Austin was a spoiled kid, but no one deserved to go that way. I shuddered again. It is over 5 minutes later before Clive finally gets me to calm down, and leaves me there in the house with 3 warriors watching over us. The children are all scared too, and it is hard getting them down tonight. I will not be able to sleep at night anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I keep seeing him keep coming at me. I had shot him at least 18 times. I have never had to shoot at anything that was not a target before. It was not a great experience. But I will do anything to keep him away from my children. I am scared that he is coming after me, and my family. My stomach is in knots right now, and my heart is in my throat. I am just going through the motions of normalcy right now. My thoughts are scattered all around. I have never been this upset before. But I have to focus right now. 2 of the warriors are downstairs. The third is at the top of the stairs. Clive told me to stay calm, but I cannot. Once I get the kids all tucked in, I go to the same window, and look out to where they had disappeared into the woods. I am glad that Aaron is getting the fence on the border built quickly. I pick up my phone to call my dad to give him the money for it. I sit on the end of my bed and listen to the call go to voicemail. I called several times with the same results. The fence has to be built. But Dad didn't answer, so I will try Mom. If Dad is in a meeting, he won't answer. I tried Mom's phone too, but she doesn't answer either. I hope that they are okay. My light was turned off once I got back into the room, and I had gotten a mind link that Aaron was still unconscious and that Clive would be staying with him tonight. He linked me that he has sent 2 more warriors to stay upstairs with us until the morning. Or if you want to pay for more such audiobooks, you can send us a request in a private Facebook group, or join us on WhatsApp, a link is given in the video description. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.